Welcome to Riverbend Talent on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
Yes, brought to you by the Halpin Music Company and brought to you by Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance Agency. I'm trying to pronounce those exactly right so the closed caption finally gets it right. I don't have to update it. Sea Shanty Sing-Along underway already down at Morrison's Irish Pub. Trivia night starts at 6:30 at the Conservatory. Cross the Line starts at 7 at Fast Eddie's. Open mic at 9 at the Raging Cajun in Alton tonight. Kevin Gruen underway at George's Local Brew in Jerseyville until 9 o'clock. Oh, boy, here we go. The Get Your Kicks Tour 23. This is Sarah Neimitz, Robbie Robinson, all right?
Yeah.
Guest stars Vinnie Martell, guitars from Vanilla Fudge.
Nice.
And Travis Clower, renowned for his portrayal of Frankie Valli in Jersey Boys. And that's what they're doing. 7:30 at the Wild E Theater tonight. Rewind at Big Daddy is already underway until 9. Double Wide Duo starts at 7 at the Foundry Public House right around the corner until 11. Money Shot Acoustic down at Deutsch Village Inn and Pontoon Beach. Mo Pleasure already underway at Patrick's in Granite City. Open mic with Toxic Johnny down at the Old Herald in Collinsville. Starts at 6:30. Lazy Lester started at 5:30. They go to 8:30 at Prairie Inn in Dorsey. And, of course, Experience Live Music Row underway. You're in tune to Riverbend Talent. I'm Dennis. Pigpen's breathing over there. I heard him a couple times. And our guest tonight, Dean Thompson, from the, I guess it's new, right? The Midwest Paranormal Investigators Consortium.
About a year old.
About a year old, yeah. That's new.
Not new enough.
New since I seen you last.
This is true.
You were Riverbend Paranormal
Correct.
there. And we were up in the Stratford Hotel walking around.
It's been a couple nights there, yeah.
Trying not to part.
It happens.
Because that will scare off spirits, apparently.
That's why they never come around me, I guess.
It'll make me laugh on every recording, I guarantee you.
That's true. Something vulgar about a fart, yet always funny.
Well,
after all these years, they're still funny.
It's like sweet and sour.
The pull my finger joke never goes old.
Years ago, we were doing a ghost hunt at Pierre Marquette Park. I couldn't think of the name of it.
Nice.
And
Like in the lodge?
In the lodge and in some of the rooms, I spent 2 hours trying to pull what I thought was a ghost voice. And unfortunately, when I finally got it to the point where I could actually understand it, it was one woman telling another woman, "You know, that pizza, it really gave me bad gas."
Oh, man.
Life of a ghost hunter.
Yeah. So how did you pick that voice up?
Using a recorder, we use our voice recorders. I'm stuttering tonight for some reason.
You're doing great, man. You're doing great.
We use digital voice recorders, and they pick up things that the normal ear can't hear. And when you play them back, hopefully you get a voice on there. I know the last time we were here, we got a few of them out of the Stratford.
Right. And it's like a radio transmitter or something. Is that what you're talking
Basically,
about? Yeah.
You're just listening. The program I use is a program called Audacity, and you can actually amplify lower decibels so that you can hear them where you couldn't hear them with the naked ear.
All right. So you're bringing decibels from very low sounds up while squashing the other things sort of to hear it. And what about frequencies? Are you trying to pull out any certain frequencies? Or
Not
pull
really.
Up any...
Not really. I know that there are some that do, and they are a little bit more advanced than I think I'll ever be. And I think they think about it way too hard.
Well, I was just curious because I'm like, it could be that they're working on different frequencies too, because you just and when you said that, well, we recorded this thing and it took a while to get it to where I could understand. It's because you were recording looking for things other than human voices.
Correct.
So that human voice was sort of squashed, and when you heard it, you had to actually pull it out to hear it again.
Well, part of Audacity is you're looking at sound waves.
Right.
And you can see where the regular voice's sound wave is, and then you'll see those little bumps in there. It's like, okay, what was that little bump? It might be a car outside. It might be, a mouse running through or squeaking or something like that, or hopefully it's a ghost.
Nice. Yeah. And you did, in fact, as you say, record some EVPs.
Correct.
Up in the upstairs of the Stratford Hotel. What was that, about a year or two ago?
It was a couple years ago,
A couple years back. It's been a minute. All my days meld together into one long day.
That's what happens when we get old.
Yeah. if it's working right, it's all just one day, man. But anyway, yeah, so that's been a couple years back, but you did record some EVPs up there.
Correct. The best one I got, I just walked into the old dining room and I sat down. I said, "So what's good in here?" And I got a female voice that said, "Everything is."
Nice.
So, I mean, when you actually get that intelligent communication, that's what we aim for, but it's very rare.
See, we had another investigator here, and we had the exact same thing happen, except it was in an old prostitute's room. Same question, everything. What's good here? Everything's good here. It was the exact same scenario.
It was not an EVP though.
Okay, maybe it wasn't.
They were
an
dowsing
EVP.
rods.
Yeah.
And he was asking the dowsing rods questions.
He was asking the prostitute a question.
Well, you know,
That too.
just trying to find out the facts, man. I'm
Definitely.
a journalist here. I'm not just a jackass. I am that's not true.
Okay, journalist, tell us why Dean Thompson's here. What event is he promoting?
He's here because he wants to talk about the Stratford Inn and how cool it is, and his upcoming event that's really spooky Halloween time event.
Where's it at?
Right here in the area.
Great journalist, Pigpen.
Well, again, when I said I'm a journalist, not a jackass, that was working in sarcasm.
Okay.
You didn't get the press packet.
Deep in sarcasm.
How
Strongly worded memos are all I ever receive from
me too.
anybody.
It's pretty simple, Pigpen. It's night at Mineral Springs.
See, I'd heard about this. No. Actually, I called Dean and talked to him about it. I just couldn't remember when you said it. You put me on the spot. So night at Mineral Springs, which we've had people in that have investigated Mineral Springs, and we've had people just telling us stories of Mineral Springs.
So
and
be a journalist and ask him what the date is for that. It'll sound like you're a real journalist if you do that.
Hey, so what's the date on that?
It's this Saturday, as a matter of fact.
Man, this is just like,
Yeah.
Nothing I've ever been through. Anyway, so that's this Saturday, and what is the event? What are we doing here?
It's history and haunting night at there. We're going to do guided investigations. But the big thing is all the proceeds go to the Madison County Historical Society. Oh, okay. This is a charity event. We started with them last year at the Voorhis up in Edwardsville, and we decided to do something kind of bigger this year. So we booked the Mineral Springs, and we're going to do it there. Like I said, all proceeds go to them. Last year we raised a couple $1,000s and helped put a new roof on the Warehouse up in Edwardsville, which we all loved doing.
Nice, yeah.
So
that always feels good whenever you get the second. Not only do you do the event, but then somebody benefits from it. Someone who needs it.
Well, we've come to the conclusion that we're never going to make money at this, so we just do charity events now. To be quite honest with you. We've done some for the Unitarian Church here, Madison County Historical Society. Glen Carbon has a history museum up there, and we help them. They have a walk a couple of weekends during the Halloween season, and we help them out.
Does that go by the old cabin there?
Oh, yeah.
Man, because that cabin's like 150 years old or something. It's crazy.
It is. It goes by that, and it ends up going by where the old mine shafts were by the library. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Where Glen Carbon, the miner, worked. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, see? I'm a historian.
He's a journalist.
He's killing it now. That's why you never can tell if this guy's telling the truth or not.
I had to get my thinking cap on for a minute because when you hit me with what it is, I'm like, well, I called Dean about it the other day, but what is it again? I don't remember.
Sorry, I was being a journalist.
Oh, you were doing great. You were doing great, and I was being the jackass. It's the team.
It happens.
So there you go.
Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Now, are there tickets still available?
We are going to sell some at the door. They're $40 a piece.
Okay.
We're not going to sell more than 20 more, though.
Okay.
We sold 50 to start with, and we've still had a lot of people asking about it. And you know what? It's a charity event.
Right.
So I'm not going to turn down money for the Historical Society.
Right.
But you don't want to overcrowd it where people can't hear because they're at the back or that,
Right.
You want to keep it. You want to keep it where everybody enjoys it so much that they want to come back to the next one.
And definitely, that's always one of my big speeches as we start. Everybody have fun. Don't get real serious. I mean, I've always said that if you're let's say you've passed on and you're sitting there and you're looking at two groups of people and you say, okay, who do I want to go interact with? And you see one group that's really serious and, man, they're just going to town. Or you see the guys on the other side laughing and having a good time. I'm going to the laughing people every time. Every single time.
Absolutely. I think you're sort of drawn to that.
Yeah.
Most people. Some people maybe not.
There's some that aren't.
I wouldn't understand those people too.
No.
I'm easily drawn by music, by conversation, by laughing into a good time every day.
and this is a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. Once it becomes work, I quit. I'll go do something else.
Right. Because then you got to find a whole new hobby.
Yeah, I know, and it's tough these days. I'm getting older. I can't find hobbies like I used to.
Now, how long have you been doing this?
My friend Brian and I discussed it the other day. We figured up we've been together and doing this 23 years.
Brian.
His name's Brian Levine. He's out of Jerseyville.
Yeah, okay.
He's an old friend of mine.
You thought it was going to be Murray there.
You investigated with him, too.
I've investigated with him many times.
Right.
We talk every Sunday, Ravens football.
So 23 years, I'm sure you've done the Mineral Springs a few times.
Couple, yeah.
Only twice?
No, I honestly, I don't know how many times I've been in there. 30 to 40 at least.
Yeah.
We got some controversy brewing over the Mineral Springs, didn't we, Pigpen?
Well, there is. There are some disputes about some of the stories that are sort of legendary stories, but the guy who runs the Torture Museum, Dave. See, you got me. See,
Dave's a good friend of mine.
Dave's a good guy. I met him one time down there, and we were just talking about the stories, and he said, I've got newspaper articles that will dispute some of the things that people have said were facts. That you can see the newspaper says this is and he's not discounting things that nothing happened there. He's just saying let's get our facts straight.
Okay.
On it.
And that's where we got into the Historical Society. I've used them for years. My friend Brian has used them for years, and we use the Telegraph archives. And if you're going to you want to do the building justice, I guess you would say, and tell the truth about what actually happened there. There were some groups in Alton that kind of made up the history when they didn't know it, and that's not me.
Yeah.
And that's what got us involved with the Historical Society.
Okay.
Which again, I think as much fun as it is to have a spooky story, when you've got a spooky building like that with a lot of actual things that have happened, and the newspapers and the facts to sort of collate things. Why have the ghost story, the made up story when we got the real thing here?
Right.
Let's just get the facts straight and get it. And I actually I talked to Dave about coming in here. We didn't work it out at that time because just our dates weren't working out. But I was like, hey, I think it would be interesting to see that side of it, to go, hey, okay, so this guy told this story, but I'm going to tell you the facts point that it happened more this way.
We've learned a lot from Pigpen. He can spin a tale. And maybe when you're getting your hair cut, you're spinning a tale just to have time pass by.
Yeah.
And, who says it's misinformation? Maybe this person really thinks they seen something and they didn't. So, I mean, who knows?
Absolutely.
That's the whole fun of paranormal, isn't it? Are you serious or are you not serious?
I've had enough paranormal experiences, even one just recently this past summer, that my wife assumed during it that I was sort of making it up, but she couldn't figure out how it had all happened. And it's like, I mean, it is fun because you don't know what you saw sometimes in a dark room.
True.
You something in your peripheral, and whoa, did I see that? Did I not see it? And there's other times where you can't rub your eyes enough to make things go away. So
Very
true.
Bringing up law. That you didn't quite bring up law, but
bringing up law. I'm like, did I mention the laws? They named ghost law.
I'm just kind of flying over that. Anyways, eyewitnesses do not hold up in court, right? Because they don't. They often, two people seeing the exact same thing describe it differently. So
always,
yeah.
And that's part of the fun of this.
Right.
I mean, personal experiences. When we actually go to a home and are trying to help somebody that thinks they have an entity there, we are very evidence-based. I mean, we won't put any personal experiences in it. But these interactive tours that we do, we want you to have some kind of experience.
Right.
And you don't have to have what the next guy had. And like I said, overall, have fun. And we're all there to try and get an experience.
All right, tell us. Have you had an experience at Mineral Springs?
100.
100.
At
That's
least.
a good number. There's
At
a good
least.
chance you might see something for 40.
You might as well have asked Jimi Hendrix if he was experienced.
Yeah, I've been there so many times.
So tell us a good one.
I'll tell you a good one.
All right.
Janet Kohler, who used to run the museum there, who ran the tours there, had a paranormal day. So this was back when we had all wired cameras and had all the wires running all over the place. And I had ran some down to the pool from where we were, and we had a little station set up upstairs that people could look in the cameras and see what's going on. Everything's over. I'm tired. I'm starting to pull up the cords. And as I start pulling the ones up from the pool where nobody was, something pulled back and almost pulled it out of my hand.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, so the first thing I thought was, oh, somebody's down there. And there was nobody there.
Do you ever figure that one out?
No.
No.
Now, there's times you look at everything logical, and this is the kind of the cusp of paranormal. You look at everything logical, and if you can explain it, you kind of go, oh, okay. It's that little bit that you say, I've got nothing, that we consider paranormal, and that's what becomes evidence.
Well, I heard an EVP from Wayne the Barber that was flat on awesome. That's all I got to say. It was so clear. It gave me chills. But that's the fun of it, right?
That is. And it doesn't happen every time you go out. It doesn't happen half the time you go out. But when it does happen, I'm like a little kid. I'm going to be the guy giggling, go, did you see that? So, yeah, I'm still a kid at heart when it comes to this.
Right.
And to be honest, if it happened every time you went out, it wouldn't be such a big deal because it would become commonplace. That, oh wow, EVPs are everywhere. And sure, for a few years, people would be like, oh, EVPs, and then it would become like watching a sitcom. Yeah, EVPs are out there.
There's another one. Oh well.
Right. But when they are,
It's like watching Finding Bigfoot. You know what's going to happen every time.
Yeah,
Nothing.
Yeah, it's my hero Josh Gates and his show Expedition X. I know at the end of the thing we're not going to have a real explanation, and they're not going to find the monster. So
but you gotta look.
Yeah.
You gotta try, man.
Right.
Yeah, that's
And, it brings a lot of people to town. Just ask Louisiana, Missouri, right?
Oh, definitely.
The infamous Momo the Monster.
Momo the
right?
Monster.
Who was seen on the hill. There's only one hill there. And apparently there's been some parties up on that hill, too.
Oh, I'm sure.
From a band we recently talked to that told us about Louisiana, Missouri, and the infamous parties. So, a drunk Bigfoot, or Momo the Monster, whatever you want to call it.
It's amazing how that entire town went after it. If you read the actual stories, the town itself, everybody's chasing it. The police are chasing it. The ministers are chasing it. The farmers are chasing it. Everybody's out looking for this mythical creature.
Heck yeah.
And the people coming in from out of town.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And it went on for years and years and years.
It would destroy the crops, so the farmers couldn't have it, and it was morally corrupt. Everyone knows Momos.
Yeah, with a name like Momo, what do you expect?
Right.
So, of course, the preachers did that. Everyone had a reason to hate this creature, But I found Momo to be a sexy, sensual. No, I don't know.
Supposedly it smelled awful.
Cuddly, but rank.
I found it to be an octopus ride at Six Flags.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was also that.
I do remember that.
Momo.
Yeah, Momo the Monster went from being a Bigfoot to an octopus in a hurry.
Yeah.
Well, Bigfoot can only have 4 people riding, 2 on each hand.
You don't make money like that.
Yeah, there's too big of a line there.
So you mentioned you investigated the first Unitarian church.
I've spent many nights there.
I was going to say, I know the latest one with the group is not your first time there. Matter of fact, we talked about it a little bit when you and I were investigating here at the Stratford. And so tell us about the Unitarian church.
The first Unitarian is one of the many churches. Churches are great with hauntings because that's a place where people feel safe. That's a place where people had some of their greatest moments in life, from getting married. And I think it holds a lot of energy in there. But the main character there was the Reverend Mercer, who I don't know if he hung himself or was hung in there. Nobody's got the story 100% because, apparently he was, dead. So you can't really ask him. There's been all kinds of rumors, but he's still there. We did. You want a ghost story? I'll give you a good ghost story.
Yes, we do.
There's a little device called a spirit box. And what a spirit box is it scans radio stations extremely fast. And what you do, you can hear it as it's changing stations. You listen for something to go through many stations because you'll get the blips. You never ask yes or no questions because Nome, Alaska is a no on there. But you listen for it to go through 5 or 6 stations, whatever is being said with the same voice. We were downstairs, and it was one of the first times I had tried this new box, and I said, is there anybody here? And didn't get anything. But I ask a question all the time because it takes a direct answer. Who was the last president of the United States you remember? And it was clear as a bell. It said Davis, Jeff Davis. I said, oh, you must be from the South, Louisville. And I mean, all of this is clear as a bell. There had always been rumors that that was a stop on the Underground Railroad.
Okay.
Up in the front corner of the church where there's no reason for it to be there, there's a big pit that's been dug out, and nobody knows for sure how it got there. Troy Taylor did it on a TV show. They climbed back there and showed it. There's no reason for it to be here. The Unitarians hated slavery. They weren't just abolitionists. They were abolitionists on steroids. And it would not surprise me if those people or the Catholic Church, either one, had a stop on the Underground Railroad there.
Yeah. I mean, it's right along the route where there's other stops going down as you head down Albee. There's other places that were stopped. You know, you go out to the Nature Institute. That was part of the midnight run where they'd come across the river and go through them woods at midnight, which that'd be creepy. That'd be creepy to do that now.
So I think I got my paranormal equipment mixed up earlier because I thought you were talking about the spirit box when you were talking about the EVP capture.
That's a digital recorder.
Okay.
The one I use is actually one that was made more for music. I use a DR05. And it's made for recording live music.
So the spookiest thing for me in the Conjuring House investigation that Brian and Rochelle did was when they're outside with the spirit box and they start picking stuff. That was pretty creepy.
It is.
Yeah.
And you never know where this is going to occur at. We go to the Cheney Mansion up in Jerseyville quite a bit, and one thing we learned is, usually when you go from point A to point B, you just turn off all your equipment and just carry it there. We discovered just the walk from the house going to the church, you would get random voices. We'd walk through there, and every now and then you'd hear a hello, and you'd stop and you'd have a half conversation with somebody. Okay. So when you look at hauntings, you can't look at just the building because they all walk the grounds too.
Right. So are you going to have a spirit box Saturday night?
We'll have several.
Okay.
Yes.
And so let me just make sure I got the spirit box right in my head.
Yeah.
So you've got a device. It's a radio, basically. AM, FM radio,
AM, FM.
AM, FM, and you've got it hooked to a speaker. It is scanning stations quickly,
yes,
very fast. And in the scanning of these stations, it starts picking up the same voice, a clip at this station, a clip at that station, a clip at that, and that turns into words.
Well, not necessarily. What you're looking for is they use that to communicate, but when they're talking, you'll hear it over several stations. So I asked one night a question in Mineral Springs, for instance, and the response I got was hateful, just like that. It covered 10 or 12 stations.
Yeah, because check this out, Pigpen. It's scanning so fast. All you're hearing from the station is rip, rap, rap, that type of thing, okay? Just like when you're, not quite on the dial. Mm-hmm. And yeah. So that's all you're hearing from the station, just little blips, blip, 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 blip.
But then if it starts making a voice, it's because it's bleeding over station to station.
Right. You're hearing it over several stations.
And like he said, the voice becomes long and clear, just like he did it all of a sudden. So that's why it's super creepy.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
I don't know if it's creepy. It's interesting.
Yeah.
We're trying to do Halloween here. Come
okay,
on,
it's
man.
Scary.
There you go. There you go.
Well, it depends if you're afraid of ghosts. If you're afraid of a ghost, it's creepy because there's a ghost talking to you.
We're trying to scare your mom and my mom who are listening.
So,
my mom's not going to get scared. I guarantee you.
She tuned out.
So let me ask you that.
No, she's on here now, probably.
Okay.
So let me ask you that. Out of all the entities and apparitions and things that you've come across, have any of them scared you, creeped you out?
Surprised, yes, but
Oh.
not scared.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never found anything that I thought, man, that is just scary. I need to leave.
Really?
No goosebumps?
No, I
No
mean,
Scooby-Doo apparitions?
no. The Scooby-Doo moment came at the Indiana. I guess it would be the Indiana Hospital. We went to this place last year, and when you opened up the doors to go into the cellar, it looked like the beginning of Scooby-Doo. There were so many bats there. You just kind of looked at it and said, okay, I'll close the door now. I'm going to go somewhere else.
All of the bad guys in Scooby-Doo were small business owners. What an odd choice from the creators.
I know.
To go after small business owners.
Yeah.
Pigpen was telling me, he's like, I want to get someone to come on and tell scary stories. And I was like, Dean Thompson's coming on this week. Why you need someone that he's going to tell us a few?
Hey, you know, I thought it was Dean Thompson, the male stripper.
Oh.
So I get so confused. I make so many calls every week, and I know this other Dean Thompson that, you know, looks just like you.
Oh, I hope not.
Looks just like you, but
He doesn't make much money,
Wears
does
a
he?
Batgirl costume a lot. So.
Well, I do that.
Well, maybe it is this one.
Maybe
The
it is
same.
me.
You are, you know, I never see you two at the same place at the same time.
There you go.
So with that many people already signed up, 50, and you're going to take on maybe 20 more, you
Maybe.
guys going to divide up into groups?
Oh, definitely.
Because won't that make it easier to?
Definitely. And we have people going out with you that have the spirit boxes. We have the equipment, and you're going to use it.
Cat
you're going to do an
toys?
actual investigation.
You're going to have some cat toys? Because I enjoyed those.
The cat balls are awesome.
They
Best. I just bought a new 20-pack of them.
Okay.
Those things are fantastic, and it's just dumb luck. I got suckered into buying one as a paranormal ball at a show one time. I paid like $13 for the thing.
The guy paid $5.99 for
No,
a
he
20-pack.
He paid less
Yeah,
than
right.
that.
Right.
And he was selling them 2 for $5 or 3 for $10.
That math don't add
he was
up.
selling them. I think it was $11.99 for one.
Oh, man.
And I'd never seen this thing. I don't have cats. I have dogs. So I thought it was the coolest thing ever until I discovered I had gotten completely duped.
Right.
But
Yeah.
they do work.
Right. So the folks that are wondering exactly how this ties into paranormal, you got these toys that glow, right? The cats
they're-
play with.
They're a light up cat ball.
Right.
If you touch it and move it, it lights up.
Right.
And you sit them out, and they'll sit there still forever and a day. And when you ask someone, hey, can you touch this to let us know you're there, and it lights up, you kind of go, huh, okay, somebody's here.
Yeah.
They actually work. They actually work extremely well. People
They
always
do.
say, well, what kind of equipment should I go buy? Well, go on Amazon, buy 3 cat balls for $4, and there you go. Start with that.
So just to make you feel better about it, you said I got duped. Just to make you feel better about that, you paid $1.99 for the cat ball and $10 for the information.
There you go. We'll call it that.
Yeah, I think you got a good deal.
You know what? I'm not going to complain because I use them a lot now.
How much enjoyment have you got out of all the cat balls?
you would be shocked.
See, I doubt you. I doubt it. I doubt it.
He's talking during paranormal investigations, not just sitting around the apartment flicking at
either
it.
one.
Yeah,
Either
exactly.
one. Yeah,
Okay,
whatever.
making sure.
Yeah, as long as you're getting enjoyment out of it,
Right.
it's $10 well spent. Is all I'm
There
saying.
you go.
Hey, you can find some enjoyment this weekend around town, so we're going to talk a little bit more about that. And I've got another cryptic thing to talk about.
All right.
Cryptid. In the Momo vein, another famous one from this area. I want to talk about for a second with you once we get done with this.
That's a tease.
We teased you.
What a tease he is.
And some other stuff, like the HatMan. I want to talk about that, and I'll tell you why. Okay, coming up Friday, the Conservatory. Check this out, Pigpen. You got
All right.
Cornfish
Oh,
kicking it off
nice.
from
Heck
7
yeah.
to 7:45. Timeless Corridor
Sweet.
from 8 to 8:45. Then the Grateful Super Jam
Nice.
from 9 to 11:30, and it's all wrapped up at midnight with Colt Ball and Friends. A
There
$10
you go,
cover at
man.
the Conservatory in Alton.
That's going to be a good time right there. That's a lot of good music happening there.
Right. Also on Friday, they got the pianos down at Raging Cajun, Champagne Fix at Fast Eddie's from 7:30 to 11:30. Flip the Frog at the VFW in Alton from 7 to 11. A lot of these are Halloween parties, just to
Yeah.
for the next 2 weekends. So Matt Van Voorhis will be playing at Bakers in Hell with this band he's been in a long time called the Stubblefield Band,
Yeah.
and Jethro. 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. is the wrong time there. No, that's got to be right. That's got to be right. At Locke's Brick House in Bethalto. Not sure about that time, though, so you might want to check on that.
It's
link.
fine. It sounds right to me.
Yeah, a lot of times they're like 7 to 11 or something in that range. That's why I've seen it kind of odd 9 p.m. start, but hey, maybe they're changing things up. Random Gravity, 7 to 10 at the Moose in Wood River. Let's see, Mudbone playing 7 o'clock at Wigglers out at Holiday Shores in Edwardsville. That's a touring group.
All right.
They're playing all over the Midwest. Skylark Brothers, 8 o'clock at the Back Bar in Edwardsville, just across the parking lot from the Wild E. Dustin Coleman at Big Daddy's around the corner from 6 to 9. Drew Schaefer at the Stagger Inn, just around the corner. And then here we go. Here's a Halloween party with Griffin and the Gargoyles.
All right.
That's a good Halloween band name.
That sounds all right.
8 to 11 at the 1818 Chop House in Edwardsville on Friday. Soulshine Groove, 7 to 11 at the Moose in Edwardsville. The Double Wide Duo, 7 to 11 at the Cabin at Judy Creek and Glen Carbon. And thanks for the info on Glen Carbon there, Big Ben. Way to go. And that's not the same cabin, though.
No. I think it's the Yondola.
It is.
Yondola cabin. It's like some historic cabin, 150 years old or something. It's a neat little cabin.
It
right
is.
There in the middle
It
of
really
town.
is.
2 nights for Phase 2 down at Doy's Village Inn, Friday and Saturday, 8:30 to 12:30. Lickety Split, 9 p.m. That's one of Pigpen's favorites.
It sounds like the name of a strip club, Lickety Splits. I don't know.
Sounds like a cat ball.
It
9
does.
p.m.
It does.
9 p.m. at Patrick's in Granite City on Friday. Hey, the Barn.
All right.
B-A-R-N, right? That's out in Marine, and it's Bar Jam 6.
Okay.
Katie Hatch, D's Notes. That's the other Scott, not Scott and Michelle. I'm looking at Scott
Scott
Michelle.
Marlin.
Yeah, thank you. Scott Marlin and his son.
Yep.
And then Scott and Michelle and friends are playing as well.
Nice.
And then the Barnstormers. Who else do you want playing the Barn?
Right, the Barnstormers. They sound like they should be the house band.
And they got a giant
the barn
circus
band.
tent out there, and they're ready to go. 6:30 in Marine. Midwest Avenue, 7 to 11 at the Grafton Pub. Jim on Keys, 3 to 7 at Aries in Grafton. John Evans at George's Local Brew in Jerseyville from 6 to 9. Salmon Creek at the Rustic in Warden at 7 o'clock. And a few other ones a little further out that you can find out at cottonmouth.org, where we list all of our gigs, including the big one Saturday. And I found out earlier that Dean is a fan of the Bishops.
Definitely.
And how about the Avon ladies?
Oh, I saw them several times in high school.
Yeah.
Any of those bands you bring up, I saw in high school.
But more importantly, you're a friend of Gus Kodros, who it's all about.
Gus and I were friends for a few years, yes. I really like the guy.
Yeah, so they're putting on the benefit tribute to Gus Kodros on Saturday down at the Lodge at Lovejoy with the Bishops, Avon ladies, Matt Tall. He's going to be busy this weekend. Doug Rafferty and Flea. Todd Keith, the American Professionals, Gigi Dar, and Bob Monroe. That's Breakmouth Annie, and more. It's 6 to 11, and it's all to benefit 988 Suicide and Crisis Hotline. A $15 ticket for that, and you can help out a good cause, which is what the Midwest Paranormal Investigators Consortium is doing. You do everything for charity, right?
Every event we do is for some charity. The ones we do at the Unitarian Church, the money goes to the Unitarian Church. Like I mentioned before, the Glen Carbon walks, I'll go to the Glen Carbon Museum there. This particular one is for the Madison County Historical Society.
Right. And they do all kinds of stuff around Madison County,
Oh, they
fixing up
do.
old buildings.
They do, and that brings me to one quick thing. I told everybody I'm going to make the world announcement tonight of our first event for 2024, which I hope somebody's listening. No, we're going.
Big man. What?
We're going to go back to the Weir House January 20th. We're limiting it to 20 people, and money's going back into the house. The interesting thing about the Weir House is they've done a lot of work on the house, and sometimes that makes the paranormal activity go way up. So we're kind of curious to see what happens after that.
Yeah, they might have stirred up some spirits, got them up
We
and
hope
moving.
so.
Yeah.
And anybody that was there last year and froze, they do have heat now.
Okay.
We did Halloween there last year, and they didn't have heat, and it was really nice until pretty much Halloween.
So what is the Weir House? Not familiar.
It's one of the oldest houses in Edwardsville. The Weir family lived there. It has become, they're making it into a museum for the Madison County Historical Society.
Okay.
The Historical Society had it donated to them, but like all old houses, it needs a ton of repairs.
Yeah.
So if we can raise money to put into that, hey, I'm all for it. I drive by it every morning, so.
Any experiences there?
They called me up because they were having experiences there and the place next door. We found out the place next door, the experiences they were having were all natural occurrences. There's a thing called hypersensitivity to EMFs. What that is if you get a high EMFs, you start feeling sick to your stomach. You can have headaches, even hallucinations. And a normal EMF setting on a light switch would be 2 to 3, and the one in the hallway where they were experiencing everything was giving off 400. So that kind of, you look at that and you go, I know why you feel weird when you walk by this light switch every time. But we went over to the Weir house, and she said, I'm going to show you this house, see what you think of it. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to record. And as we were walking in the door, there was myself and 2 ladies, and they said, well, okay, let's go on in. And I have the voice of a little girl going, me too. That's walking in the back door.
Wow.
And at that point, it's like, okay, yeah, I think we can do something here.
All right. So you got a date for that?
January 20th.
20th, okay.
You can go on the Madison County website, and tickets are available there.
Okay.
She's taking reservations there.
Of course, you came in tonight to, and we'll mention again, just like our sponsors, Halpin Music Company, Matt Van Voorhis of Stubblefield Band. We'll mention again that you guys are investigating the Mineral Springs Mall and raising some money for the Madison County Historical Society Saturday night.
Correct.
And still some openings available, but closing quickly.
Closing very quickly.
Right.
Yes. So act now is what they're trying to say.
Well, they can't act now. They have to wait till Saturday.
No.
True.
Act now. Just go get in line and wait.
Yeah, go ahead. Put your tent out front.
Go ahead and put a tent up, get a barbecue grill out. That'd be awesome, man.
You're going to go ghost hunting and get Hagar tickets all at once.
Okay.
I miss the days of like camping out at the famous bar parking lot.
I do too.
It was part of the whole ritual of going to a good concert. Is you also got that, got to get the tickets party. Just one more party on the way to the concert.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so hopefully I don't butcher this guy's name, but he
Okay.
works for the Edwardsville Intelligencer. I messed that up.
Yeah, welcome to my world.
John J. Dumpy wrote this article. Okay, and
All right.
he had talked to a lady and had posted on Facebook about the sighting she had, and she was walking her dog around Alton about 1 a.m. And he ended up writing an article on this. Now that she's seen something large, it had like a white human face, black wings, which she's seen fly. She said she's seen it fly. Her dog even growled at it at one point, and it had glowing eyes. Now some people mentioned that might be a barn owl. And lucky it didn't screech, because those things sound like
that'll wake the dead.
Yeah. So that's the story. Have you had any insight on this sighting? Some people said the Mothman.
Well, I'm friends with John on Facebook. Okay. One thing that I found very interesting about that, there was, after he posted that first one, there was somebody that came on there and said, I'd really like to talk to this woman, but I don't want to talk in public about it.
Right.
So apparently that wasn't the first sighting.
Oh.
I don't know. I've never seen it. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but it piqued my interest, especially when the second person came in there and said, well, there's something there.
Yeah.
What it is, I don't know.
Well, you know what a lot of people immediately turn their heads to? A famous cryptic that flew around the river.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They had sort of a white face.
Yeah.
It had a human face, that is for sure.
Actually, didn't it have a beard like a tiger?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Or a beard like a man. Let's see. I got it right here. Because I want to bring up this book. It's very interesting to me that I had found. It's called Chasing Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's the true history of the Piasa bird. Now, the Jesuit history is that this thing was a man-eating bird that ate the Indians, and they painted it on the wall, and then they threw spears at it. Everybody knows that story. And then they found this cave supposedly with skulls in it, and et cetera, et cetera. Well, this couple, Mark and Lori Nicholas, who wrote this book, think it's a Chinese dragon. Now, what it says in here, it's comparing a description of a Chinese dragon from a book from China, because they had been going back and forth, with the description of the Piasa bird. Now, here's what it says. It says, both creatures had horns like a deer. Both had red, fiery demon eyes. Both had a beard or whiskers like a tiger. Both were covered with scales. Both were painted in green, red, and black. These are imperial colors and can be seen today on Chinese New Year's dragons. Both possessed long, sinuous tails long enough to wrap around their bodies. Both of the tails terminated in a fish tail. Both had human-like faces. And there's a Chinese name there, and it's an emblem. The face was that of a magical beast. The Quinlan, traditionally depicted with human-like facial features. An absence of wings, this would be unusual in a Western dragon. Traditionally, many Chinese dragons flew without wings. And both exhibited highly sophisticated execution, as good as any in France, what you would expect from the technical advanced Chinese. No other pictorials are known that approach the level of skill. So that was the Chinese description, and boy, does that not sound like the Piasa bird.
And how far back does the writings from about that creature go?
Well, this is an ancient book. It says, it doesn't give a date like right here on this page. I mean, it's an entire book. I'm sure it's in there somewhere.
Right.
But I just found it interesting when I seen that description. Now, people say, well, the Chinese were never here. That is to be, there's a good possibility there. And they point out in the book, they have found Chinese writing all over America.
Correct. The other thing is, this story was written not by the Indians. It was first brought to public
By the Jesuits.
by the Jesuit priests.
Those are the Columbus guys.
And that the thing with that is, the story could have been, oh yeah, there was something that flew in the sky and brought our people off, and they put a face and a name to it.
Yeah. And the Jesuits have been known many, many times to change history. As I mentioned, the guy Columbus. Yeah. We all know he landed in the Indies.
Oh, yeah.
So,
That's why we celebrate Leif Erikson Day in it.
right, yeah. But we don't celebrate Chinese Dragon Day yet.
No.
So I guess, eventually.
You don't.
Yeah, I do. I totally do.
I celebrate it every day.
Yeah, you're chasing the dragon all the time, aren't you? I knew what he meant.
But it's a good story.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing with cryptids. A lot of them are just really, really good stories.
Yeah.
The Mothman. I mean, we had the cryptid downtown. We also had the Lady in Black, who would be seen walking up Powder Mill Road before an explosion.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, all those stories, from that to Resurrection Mary, and many, many towns have Resurrection Mary, where you pick up the good-looking girl in her dress. She had just been to a dance, and as you drive past the graveyard, she disappears in your car. That was started at Resurrection Cemetery up in Chicago, and I know people that have driven up that road 100 times trying to find her and never have.
I've also seen links to the Piasa bird from Wales.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the diagram they use, I forget the organization, but yeah, it's a wingless beast.
Right.
And then, you got to think of South America and Quetzalcoatl,
Right.
which is
Definitely.
another flying beast of sort. And we know the South Americans were way up in here. So,
Well, and
interesting.
and even to say that all these beasts aren't the same because you can see a bird. You could be in Utah, and there could be a bird on top of a mountain, and it flies to the other mountaintop in minutes. What would take you a day to drive? I mean, to say that a bird that big couldn't just swoop across the countryside in a
Right.
day is, easily.
Yeah, the old Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Which that was another one that was, I believe, in the 30s. they saw birds the size of a small plane flying.
Have you seen those turkey vultures up on the bluffs?
Oh, yeah.
Those are huge animals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the thunderbirds that were chased through Alton were documented by the police department.
Yeah.
So they saw something. Now, did they see a California condor that got lost and ended up in Illinois? Who knows?
Right.
That's part of the fun of cryptids.
It is a fun of cryptids.
But when you have multiple people and multiple sightings of odd entities, it becomes a lot more fun and interesting.
True.
Because how are these people describing things, people who don't know each other, just making the same descriptions, it must have seen something, or they have perfect imaginations that line up. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of like the Bigfoot stories. Yeah. I want to believe in Bigfoot so hard.
Yeah, right.
I've discovered that Bigfoot is naturally blurry, though, judging from his pictures.
Yeah, absolutely.
But honestly, I believe if that animal existed, he would have rode on somebody's fender by now. Somebody would have ran over this thing and would have smashed the top of their car, and you'd have the police out there taking pictures.
Right.
Have you seen the recent video from the train?
Yes.
Out west.
Yes.
Oh man, that's a wild one. To me, I could see easy CGI done with something like that, on a green screen, but still fun to look at.
Oh, it is, and like I said, I really would love to believe. I'd love to find a Bigfoot, but I don't know if I believe they exist.
Yeah. So we had a debunker of Bigfoot on the show. Remember? Our Hollywood makeup artist.
Oh yeah, Jeff Lewis.
That's right.
Yeah.
He says he knows that was a suit on the original Bigfoot.
Oh, yes. Yeah. There's no doubt in my mind that thing walks, it was just one of those things, if you watch it, it's walking just like a human, swinging its arms, and then it turns and looks back at the camera. It almost poses for you.
Yeah.
But humans have broke down that video and said, look how large a steps they're taking. There's no way this is a human for entertainment purposes only. All right, so I'm gonna tell you a HatMan story, but I want to get some more gigs in for this Saturday. As we mentioned, the tribute to Gus Kodros going down at the Lodge at Lovejoy, and this guy sitting across from us, Dean Thompson, is going to be taking you through the Mineral Springs Mall this weekend if you get there in time, because tickets are quickly diminishing. What do you got? Punch and cookies to go with this? Or
it says chips, sodas, water, cookies, probably some cupcakes, maybe some leftover pizza from whatever we ate earlier.
Okay.
I don't guarantee that, though.
Everybody knows when it says refreshments, it's probably punch and cookies.
Yeah, I don't do punch. I want it in a can, okay?
Okay.
And knowing the guys I hang out with, somebody's going to spike it eventually, and it's just going to turn into a mess.
But the fun stuff is you get to play with all your toys that you have. You're going to take them around in groups. And
well, the fun stuff is seeing the people and how they react and interact. You'll go into a room and you'll say, okay, we're going to use a spirit box. Ask some questions, and you see 20 people sitting there that want to ask something, and nobody wants to be first.
Right.
But once something happens, and
if you get Pigpen to go, he'll be first. He won't even let you stop talking, and he'll jump right.
Yeah, I'll just leave him somewhere. Here you go, you take it. I'm going to go take a nap now.
I got 25 questions right now I want to ask.
What do you want to ask about the Flock food truck lot on Saturday?
I want to ask what time it gets started.
Okay, 6 to 9. Almost Dangerous going to be there.
Okay.
All right.
That helps. That question one gone.
They have a private event all day at the conservatory on Saturday, so you might want to just go to the Flock instead.
No, because I'm not going to let them keep me out. You can't tell me I can't come.
Well, there you go. Well, they'll let you in anyway.
Except Kyle.
There might be a nice wedding you can stop by, too, on the way to get some food.
You got the inn there. They're going to let you in.
I've crashed a lot of weddings. This will not be my first rodeo.
Sean Trost, 2 to 6, Champagne Fix, 7:30 at Fast Eddie's. Number 4 Combo doing the PFW on Saturday from 7 to 11. Backwoods Burden out at Bakers and Hale in Godfrey. And Tommy Carlos will be in town on Saturday with his new release party. Special guest Charlie Brown and Billy Hurst.
Oh, yeah.
You're a blockhead, Charlie Brown. Not the same guy. Great country artist from East Alton Wood River. 6 o'clock at Hathaway Hall at Lewis and Clark College in Godfrey. And the after party at the Wood River Moose. So that going down
Nice.
Saturday
There you go.
for Mr. Tommy Carlos. What's he got? Like 5 publishing deals now
I think
with
he's
Sony.
on his 6th or something.
He's
I
on
mean,
his
it's
6th.
insane. The
That's
guys wrote
unheard
a
of.
lot of songs,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. He wrote for Montgomery Gentry, and the list goes on and on and on. And his new release, his latest before this one,
Yeah.
like 1 million spins. So
Wow.
yeah, he was up there. Foreplay at the Pump House on Saturday at 9 o'clock. Halloween will flip the frog at the Tri-County Rod and Gun Club on Saturday at 7 o'clock.
Nice.
Jim and Carl Mager doing Georgia's local brew in Jerseyville, and Grafton is going to have the whole town partying,
Okay.
which is on the water.
Witches on the water.
So you
okay.
get a $13 wristband,
Yeah.
and you gather your coven, and you fly over to Grafton for a spooktacular evening full of magical potions,
Yeah.
wicked entertainment,
Okay.
exciting contests, vendors, and more. 2 shuttle buses will be available to help the witches around town if the brooms ain't working. And 5 to 10, rain or shine. And we'll go through some of the bands that will be playing up there. The Last Stand Band will be the Hog Pit. There'll also be a Sexy Witch contest at 7 o'clock. So you might
Nice.
want to be there at the Hog Pit around 7.
That sounds pretty sexy.
Tanglefoot, 3 to 7 at the loading dock. Don Weber, 3 to 7 at Grafton Winery, Brew House. Cabin Fever, 1:45 to 5:45, and then Worth the Fight, 7 to 11 at Grafton Pub. Terrence Wafer, 12 to 3, and Jonathan Baker, 3 to 7 at Aries Resort in Grafton. Matt Walterscheid, 7 to 10 at the Bloody Bucket Saloon in Grafton. That's the best Halloween stop there in Grafton. I mean, look at
Bloody
that.
Also supposed to be haunted, so.
Oh, there you go. You ever investigated?
No, I haven't done that. That and the Rubles, though, I've always heard stories about.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see that old hotel having some stuff go down in it in the day.
Oh, Grafton was a rough town at one time.
Butchmore,
At
9
one
a.m.
time.
at the Goshen Market in Edwardsville at one time.
Anytime Pigpen's in town,
He's going up there to rough up the witches this weekend.
Just trying to have a good time is all I'm doing.
Right. Lake Fultz, 9 p.m. to midnight, the Corner Tavern in Edwardsville. Jethro Tull's Martin Bear.
Nice.
A brief history of Tull. The Encore Show at 8 o'clock at the Wild E Theater in Edwardsville. Mike Sonderreger, 6 to 9 at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville. The Skylark Brothers at the Moose in Edwardsville at 7 o'clock. Just Jethro at Lyle's Tavern in Maryville. Strange Buffalo at the Cabin at Judy Creek. The scruffy-looking nerf herder doing Manhattan's Coffee House from 7 to 10. Beowulf at Patrick's in Granite City. Phase 2, Night 2, Deutz Village Inn. Tailgaters down at Old Herald in Collinsville. And Jake Kessling at the Rustic in Warden. And on to the Hooky Halloween party. 6 to 10 at the Wild Pickens in Chesterfield. Whiskey River up at Beserman's Super Bowl at 7 o'clock on Saturday. And Colt Ball and Spilly Nelson, although Josh Witt injured. So I'm not sure how Spilly's going to pull that off. But 7 p.m. at the Old Rock House in St. Louis on Saturday. I believe he dislocated his shoulder. So maybe they just jacked that thing back in place and he's ready to start.
Oh man, well, sorry to hear that for
Yeah.
about Josh.
Yeah. Speaking of starting to hear, we need to pass along our condolences to Big George Brock. He lost his wife this past week, so our
Sorry to
condolences
hear
out to our buddy Big George. The Trophy Mule's also playing acoustic at the Alpha Brewing in St. Louis. And Mad Bailey's on Sunday will be at the Lovejoy in Alton. And let's see, some other highlights from Sunday include the Soulard Blues Band at the Loading Dock. Wolves of Lust, how about that? Grafton Pub.
We've got the move from Martin's Tunes and Eats to Max Time Out for the open mic night with Special Ed and Kenny McPeak.
Yep, that's right. So Martin's is no longer, and they'll have the Jimmy Band hosting the open mic now at Max downtown Alton instead of Martin's Tunes
you
and
go.
Eats. So
3 p.m. on Sunday.
Heartland out at the Prairie Inn and the Owls out at Wild Pickens on Sunday. And over in St. Louis, the Divine March are playing with Valores, a touring group, and Lousy with Coyotes. I can pronounce that. At the Sinkhole.
At the Sinkholes.
So my mom is not a paranormal person per se, but she had an odd experience, and I come into the house the night after it happened, and she said she was laying in bed. She looked up. She felt something looking at her, and it was a man, black silhouette, with a hat. Now, why that's interesting to me is this is a common story.
Yes.
Do you know about the HatMan?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And I have seen variations of that. There was a house up by the Alton Cemetery that we used to go to quite a bit, and we have a picture of a black shadow figure that looks like he's wearing almost a top hat. So yeah, that's one of those common things, and I don't know why.
Yeah, that's weird when like multiple people see the same thing in multiple locations.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, if you said a baseball hat, I would have just figured it was Pigpen.
Right.
Well,
he does stand around in silhouette.
Yeah, he makes a great silhouette.
Actually, we both do, but we'll do things like on the electric company where I say the first part of the word and then he says the second part of the word and then we say it together.
Great, I'm going to have that going through my head all night.
Ja, oint, oint, oint. Ja, oint, joint.
Weed.
Uh,
I mean, you can't break that one up.
Well,
What?
we don't always break them up.
It's just enough to get it smoked right, man.
Yeah.
So, hey, we've been talking to Dean Thompson for the past, low hour about the Mineral Springs Mall and the investigation going down this Saturday.
For a good cause.
And the money is for a good cause. Not many openings left, but there will be some. What do you say, about 20 seats?
Something around that.
Somewhere around there, sold at the door. So, what time should people show up for something like that?
We start at 8. If they're there by 7, I would say that would be good.
If you get there by 7, you'll be able to get your ticket. And if you're like, well, I got to kill some time, you can walk to Germania Brewhouse, get a coffee.
Definitely.
Whatever you got to do, and then all of a sudden it's going to be time to go down and check out the Mineral Springs Mall. If you haven't been to check it out, there's a lot of creepy stories that come out of that place, and some of them that have some facts to help back them up,
There are some.
and some of them that are just maybe stories, but we don't know.
Like the one where the marble rolled out of the closet? That was
Yeah,
one of my
I was there
favorites.
for that one.
You
That
were.
one happened.
I actually had one. I was in the pool. At the bottom of the pool, there was nobody at the top, and I was sitting there, and a marble rolled down. You could hear it roll down and hit me right in the foot.
Yeah.
I have no
Where?
explanation for
Pretty
that
sure
one.
you told me that story.
Yeah.
That's why I brought that up.
That's I'm telling you, man. And was it a nice tiger eye marble?
No, it was just a marble.
Well,
Like maybe from the inside of a spray paint can.
That's always been the rumor.
Yeah. I guess there's a graffiti artist that's like,
a
a
graffiti
ghost in
artist,
the,
a
Mineral Springs.
paint huffer, whatever you want to call it.
Actually, quite the opposite. It's a little girl.
Right, yeah.
Who huffed a lot of paint.
I hope not, because she's only 5 or 6. So yeah,
With a name like Cassandra, they go crazy. No, I'm just
that is
kidding.
true.
I'm just kidding. All right, so there you go. Though you want to hear these kind of stories, or many more.
Or debunk them yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what an investigation's about.
Yes, exactly. So whether you want to go to prove it, disprove it, or just have a good time,
Can
which
you
is
wear
the best
costumes
idea.
if you want, right?
I don't recommend it with
don't?
all the stairs in there and the place is dirty and dusty.
So what? Furries aren't welcome?
I think you would die walking up and down the stairs in one of those costumes.
You could dress like Sherlock Holmes, though,
Yeah, you could do that.
or the Ghostbusters.
We have had people show up to these dressed like
Dr.
Ghostbusters.
Beckman?
Yeah, it's
Stay Puft Marshmallow would probably not work out well.
no. But we're not going to. As I always
it's
say, I'm a
real
ghost hunter.
marshmallow.
Who am I to judge?
Put on real marshmallows. I mean, that might be.
Well, that might entice Cassandra to come out. I like marshmallows.
Somebody's going to show up now with marshmallows all around. I
I
was
hope
listening
so.
to a radio show, and I heard that you could come with marshmallows on.
I hope so.
Now, I had two different visions there. The first one was somebody with just marshmallows stuck to them, and the other one was like they had whole bags of marshmallows taped to them. Either way, I want you to go for it. Somebody out there.
I prefer them in the bag. That way we can have them in hot chocolate later.
That's true. He needs refreshments. No, actually, he's already got refreshments.
Yeah. So there you go. Hey, everybody, who wants to be in a part of this, 7 p.m. That's the time to be there. If you don't already have your tickets bought, 7 p.m. at the Mineral Springs Mall, which right on Broadway there. Everybody pretty much knows where it's at. If you don't, it's on Broadway.
You can't miss it.
Well, between like Henry and I don't know, the next road down.
It's a big building. Great stores in it.
Yeah. So between Ridge and Henry, there you go. It took me a minute to come
Some
up
people
with it.
listening may remember it opening.
I doubt that very greatly. If they do, I want to meet them.
As the department store. No, I don't know.
No, it actually opened up as a Mineral Springs bathhouse.
Yeah.
And back in the early days, mineral spring water, if you had something wrong with you on the inside, you drank it. If you had something wrong with you on the outside, you bathed in it. I mean, it was supposed to cure everything from cancer to herpes, and it really didn't do a whole lot of anything. Did have some antibodies. It had some
So the
antibodies in them.
historians say we don't believe in Jesuits. I'm just saying.
No, it did have some antibodies in it, and if you had something very small wrong with you, it might help you. But people were coming there with cancer, and I mean, just all these horrible diseases, and it's like, oh, this is going to cure me.
Yeah,
No,
they
it's
needed
not.
some Soma water.
I agree.
Mineral water's not quite
No,
enough.
no. And if you ever smelled that stuff, oh my God, it's
I hear it's
awful.
radium.
Oh, it's horrible.
That's the insight from YouTube.
the,
Radium.
the one down in. I have a friend of mine that runs a place called the Hall of Waters in Excelsior Springs, and it's another one of those. Mm-hmm. At one time, they sold the water that they were pulling up, and it smelled like sulfur.
Yeah,
And I heard it tasted like sulfur too.
I still have a bottle, probably from the 70s, that has never been opened that says Arkansas Mineral Springs water.
Right.
Yeah.
That my dad had bought down in Arkansas, like, back in the 60s or 70s. It's still sitting there. I'd be afraid to open it.
And Pigpen told me that, Sam Squatch, he tastes like sulfur.
Sam Squanch?
Oh, yeah, the Sam Squanch.
That's how you really say
He's
it.
for real.
That's the Canadian pronunciation.
Right.
So there you go, man. Good times to be had at the Mineral Springs Mall this Saturday. Like I say, whether you're wanting to prove something, disprove something, mainly just come to have a good time, right?
Definitely.
Just if you're looking for something fun to do, that is the place to be.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
And
so.
if you don't come see us there, go to the Gascodris.
Yeah, absolutely. Down at Lovejoy, which is probably also haunted. I mean, I don't know.
I'm sure it is. Everything's haunted.
There's very few things in this town that aren't haunted. So,
Apparently that loft where they practiced was something.
Russ's old.
Check out last week's video for that story. We're out of here, Pigpen.
All right, man. Everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks to our sponsors, Halpin Music Company and Matt Van Voors of Macias Insurance. Everybody, if you don't get down to Mineral Springs Mall, if you don't get to the Gus Show, please just get out and support local music and art.